What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. How are you? Friendly people in the chat. CiottiFPV, Alec Dvornik, Chuck King, B-Man FPV, Dan636, Doom FPV is in the house, Grizz FPV, Demenis, T-Bird, Dan636 again, Chomper again, Blizzard, Richard, Chuck Sauls, Richard, Metal Dirtskin, Hard FPV, Northern Tier, Demenis, Riot 9, Metal Dirtskin, Kenny Kobe. I'm gonna leave it there. If you want the gangly man to read your name, you gotta get in early, you gotta say something. If you want to talk directly to me, all you need to do is type CiottiFPV. When you do that, it'll light up an orange like this. You don't have to put an @ but you certainly can. You guys can do that to each other. If you want to get somebody's attention in the chat, type their name, spell it right, and it'll light up an orange. Tonight is a giveaway night. And in the spirit of Christmas, we're going to do a bigger giveaway than normal. Tonight's giveaway is going to be an entire working build. Those of you that watch the channel a lot got to see me do this build a couple of weeks ago. So you know exactly what went into it. You also got to see me fly it around, so you know how it flies. This kind of represents the best of what you can build from tinywhoop.com. It's there in terms of a 65 millimeter whoop. Meteor 65 frame, tinywhoop.com 0802 27,000 kV motors, the HQ quad blade props, the tinywhoop.com pinch camera and VTX setup, which I custom direct soldered a True RC Singularity to, and a Happy Model AIO, and one of the only things that you can't get on their website is this Newbie Drone receiver. Or I'm sorry, Newbie Drone B-Ceiver. Couple of the tinywhoop.com batteries, and a couple extra canopies, and a bunch of extra of the camera and VTX mounts. In order to get in on this giveaway, it's going to be, basically, I'm going to take all 4 of the normal giveaways that I do and just smash them all together, because this has a lot more money in it than I typically do with all the other giveaways. So you guys are going to potentially have like multiple entries to win this. One of the ways to get entered to win this is to join my Patreon at the $5, $10, or $20 and up tiers. The basically the way that tonight's giveaway is going to work is every $5 gets you on the wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the $5 a month wheel, and there's going to be one winner from that. I'm going to put their name aside. I'm going to spin the $10 a month wheel twice, and then there's going to be 2 winners. I'm going to put them aside on another wheel. I'm going to spin the $20 a month wheel 4 times. That's going to get 4 winners. Those 4 people are going to go onto a separate wheel. Then we're going to open it up to Super Chats, just in case for some reason you guys don't want to do the best way of supporting me possible, which is Patreon. We're going to do Super Chat and PayPal like we do our normal, open to everyone 4th giveaway on Monday nights. So if you do a PayPal or a Super Chat, when I say now, not until then, but when I say, hey, it's opened, if you do a $5 PayPal or Super Chat, I'm going to put you on the Yeah. $5 PayPal or Super Chat, you go on the special wheel once. No. Sorry. It's that's the 4th wheel. And we're gonna spin that wheel, just like we do with the regular Super Chat giveaways. Sorry. Today's been a rough day. Yeah, so we're gonna pretend, basically do our Super Chat giveaway. Whoever wins that gets put on that extra last wheel, and then we're gonna do that last wheel spin for this. So yeah, that's how it's gonna work. That's the most fair way that I've been able to come up with in my head. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. If you're not, you better have a suggestion as to a better way. CiottiFPV says, what's up? The Menace says, collective in the house. T-Bird says, what's up? Double A says, are you seriously giving this whoop build away, buddy? I sure am. Gem Fan Hobby being amazing as always. Mark Turgensen says, evening. Dan Richmond says, how are you? I'm okay, Dan. I'm here hanging out with my friends. And that's enough. Go-Kart Mozart says, howdy. Kenny Kobe with a $5 super chat. He says, happy holidays, bro. Thank you, Kenny. Holidays a little bit happier because of you. Much appreciated. Gem Fan Hobby says, if I win, can you please send without props? I got my own. Absolutely. You'll notice I'm getting rid of... You'll notice I'm not giving this away with Jim Fan props. Because I hoard them all for me. Because they're better. Michael Blade says, hey buddy, Double A says, make it a double for me. License to Drive says, $5 goes on the first wheel with the $5 tier, surely. What? Alright, I saw somebody type confusing. We're doing the giveaways exactly the same that we usually do, but there's no prizes until the very last second. And then I do one last wheel spin, which I take care of. You guys don't have to understand it. And then, yeah. So we're going to do the giveaways like normal, except, I guess, for the fact that we're spinning the wheels multiple times. But other than that, the giveaways are going to be done as per normal. And then the winners of all those wheel spins get spun. That's all. That's all there is to it. Felix Torres says, Christmas gift ordered using your affiliate link. Thank you, brother. I can't even remember to do it. I'm amazed that you guys can remember. That's amazing. Very, very cool of you. Ripsqueak OG 3-inch 3.2mm arms, Mamba F405 mini stack, Brother Hobby 1504.5, Baby Ratel 2, T-Motor 3140. Any preset PIDs to start with. Well, so one of the problems that you're going to run into right away is that those Brother Hobby motors are T-mount and those T-Motor 3140s are M5 mount, Felix. So, order some different propellers because those props ain't going to work. Get yourself a couple of sets of the Dow 3029s. 3028? 3029. 3028? 3029. 3028, sorry. Dow 3028, that's the prop that you want for that motor and that build. In terms of any preset PIDs to start with, stock PIDs are always your best bet. With a proper mechanical build, correct, good motors, good frame, good propellers, a stock tune is going to fly great. It's also going to give you the leeway to pound on that rig and just keep flying it. I don't see that you're doing an HD camera, so that's even more of a reason to run stock PIDs. Realistically, unless you're carrying around an HD camera, there's absolutely no reason to change your PIDs. All that changing your PIDs is going to do is leave you with a rig that's more fragile. Joshua just used this word, fragile, to describe rigs where you start cranking the PIDs up. And it's just perfect. It's the perfect word for it. So yeah, I mean, unless you like a fragile rig, if you like having a fragile rig that, you know, for you and you alone to see doesn't prop wash, then sure, jack your PIDs up. But there's no reason for that, right? Like, what do you care in the goggles if the rig prop washes? You know? Like, what that prop wash actually is, in reality, is a sign to you that you've put the rig into dirty air. And so if you care about, like, improving as a pilot, it's actually a really good thing to get to see that, right? If you'd cranked your PIDs up and the D-gain had eaten up all that prop wash, you wouldn't have known that it was prop washing, that you wouldn't have known that you'd put it into dirty air, and you wouldn't have that opportunity to improve as a pilot. If you're carrying an HD camera around, you're doing that in order to show other people your footage, and you maybe don't want other people to see prop wash. That's a reason to change the stock tune. But yeah, without an HD cam, nobody's going to see the footage. So what do you care if it prop washes, right? Use that as an opportunity to learn to become a better pilot, and yeah, you'll be a better pilot, and that's a good thing. So yeah, stock PIDs are absolutely, for 99% of people, stock PIDs are the way. For that 1% of people who is, for example, working on paying gigs, then you need to get off the stock stock tune, unless you've built a mechanical system that's dialed in on the stock PIDs, which is absolutely a possibility. But yeah, changing your PIDs is usually a bad idea for most people. I know it's very alluring to do it, and you think that it's going to make you fly better, but it absolutely is not. It's actually going to make you fly worse, because it's going to cover up your mistakes, and it's going to leave you with a setup that's more fragile, that you can't fly as much, as hard, with as beat up props, as beat up motors, as beat up frame, and on and on and on and on it goes. So yeah, leave your PIDs alone. It's the best way to get better as a pilot. And it's going to allow you to fly, literally fly more. Like, literally fly more. And, you know, that's what we all want, right? Bork's got his shirt today. Very cool. Love it. Chomper FPV says, check your Instagram. Sent you some info about some stuff. Let's see. Man, it is hard to type without my index finger. Instagram is broken. That's great. All right, let's see. Right. Oh, damn. Chomper has 2 tiny whoops that he wants to donate for giveaways. Very, very generous. I'm super interested, man. One's a V1 B-Brain brushless, no receiver. Other's a mosquito frame, no receiver. Also have so many other accessories, extra frames, props, batteries. Damn, dude. Very cool, Chomper. Very, very generous of you, man. Chat, everybody go over to Chomper's chat. The absolute least that you can do, chat, is to head on over to Chomper FPV's channel and subscribe and leave him some nice comments. Because, yeah, you know, this stuff is going to end up in one of your guys' hands. So go show the man some love. Super generous, dude. Thank you so much, Chomper. I was lucky enough to get to meet Chomper earlier this year. Yeah, just an amazing dude. Just, you know, just like all you guys in chat. Amazing parts of the community. Amazing human beings. You guys are the goddamn best. What else we got going on in the chat here? Demenis. YouTube did the thing. I will say this about tuning. Pushing your feed forward up will give you more of a connection between what you're doing on the sticks and the quad. So pushing your feed forward up to like 100, 150, 200, sure. But moving the P's, the I's, and the D's around, for the most part, you know, without an HD camera, I just don't see the point. All that being said, I don't have a single rig on a stock tune. But, you know, I've been doing this for 5 years, and most of the flying that I do is going to end up for other people to see it. So, yeah. For me, it makes sense to do that. But if you just fly for fun, I don't know. I don't know why you would move your tune up, other than because everybody else does it, and because, you know, the norm is to try to crank your tune as well. I mean, I feel like the norm is to take somebody else's tune and just hope to hell that your shit doesn't catch on fire. Don't do that. Never, ever, ever take anybody else's tune. It's the silliest thing you could ever do. Yeah. Demenis says, is the Hyperlight Glide on Pyrodrome the same thing as the FPV Cycle Glide? Absolutely not. Did you say something at Kebab? Not liking that deal. Kebab and Pyrodrome kind of broke up, so to speak, when the quality of the carbon and the cutting of the glide frame wasn't up to par. So by buying the glide on Pyrodrome, you get that worse quality frame for the same amount of money. So there's absolutely no reason to do it. License to Drive says collate the $5 super chats with $5 Patreons. I mean, viable? Pretty much. Yeah. It won't flow right though. I'm just gonna do the giveaways with the regular old flow because I'm used to it, and you know the wheels are already set up like that. But yeah, I mean, technically speaking, I could put the $5 and $10 super chats and PayPals on any of the wheels, right? Because it's all random. Well, I don't know. Whatever. I already figured it out. Hopefully I'm not screwing anybody over. I really thought about. I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I think that that this setup that I've cooked up is the fairest and the simplest way. So yeah, I think we should be good. GrizzFPV says, got me some of those Dow props for the Ripsqueak once I get my new bottom plates. Very cool. You're gonna like them. Jay Drones says hi. Dan636 says, it's self-feel of a tuned quad though. I mean, don't go bleeding edge, motors that can cook an egg, but the response to the stick is a great feeling. So yeah, Dan636 is, what Dan636 is getting at is basically feed forward. The P gains also do make the rig sharper, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the other thing too, right? Like, like with stock P gains, if it's windy, you might see like a little bit of bobbling. But again, if you're just flying for yourself, I would that would be kind of cool, because then you know it's windy, right? I don't know. You can I'm certain you can make a pretty good argument for tuning a rig, but absolutely no questions asked. If you go up from the stock tune, the rig becomes more fragile, and you know, on the list of priorities, I think for somebody that flies for them, like when I look back at when I just flew for fun, when I just flew for myself, the absolute top of the priority was flying as much as possible, and the stock tune will do that better than anything. I mean, technically turning down the stock tune would do that even better, but then you're getting into the realm of it being like potentially unflyable, or like the flight performance gets so bad that it actually hurts you. So yeah, the stock tune is amazing. You know, and to be honest, I'm just tired of every single other comment in relation to FPV being, hey, who's got a tune that I can put on my rig? Like, I'm just so tired of that. It's just the stupidest question, and it just hurts you. It's the worst thing you can possibly do. And you know, most people aren't willing to take a half an hour to learn how to tune. So, you know, the easiest way around it is to just be, and the more that I think about it, the more that I realize that it's absolutely true, that the stock tune is absolutely the best bet for 99% of people. So that's, you know, I'm just kind of going in that direction at this point, I think, because it's the easiest thing. And yeah, hopefully other people will think for a minute and realize that that is the absolute truth. CiottiFPV says, what's your aim for weight on a 65mm whoop? You know, I don't really have one, Athix. I used to be hell-bent on like specific numbers for the weight on the 65mm whoops, but just being conscious about weight, I think, is a better option. Is the way. Yeah, like I don't have a specific number, but just as light as possible, as light as possible without sacrificing durability. So the Meteor 65 frame or the Cockroach frame. An AIO that has the VTX built into it. Maybe even the receiver built into it, which is something that really excites me about ELRS. ELRS built in to a tiny whoop board with a VTX also built in is going to save us like damn near 2 grams, and that's a big deal. So yeah, just like I try not to get super hung up on the numbers anymore. I just look at it, you know, like I literally look at it and just like, all right, where can I save some weight? What's going on with those motors? Are they the lightest ones possible? What's up with these props? Are they the lightest ones possible? What's up with this canopy? And then with each of those things, you know, like, okay, so the props. Are these the lightest weight props available? No. Well, that's okay, though, because these are a 4-blade prop that makes a bunch of thrust. Thrust is more important than weight, to some extent, when it comes to a propeller. Is this canopy the lightest weight? Is this camera setup the light? You know, so it's more, to me at least, it's more just about being very mindful and thoughtful and just looking at the rig and being like, okay, where can I save a fraction of a gram? Where can I save another fraction of a gram, another fraction of a gram, another fraction of a gram, and not sacrifice durability? So that's sort of my thought process. But the key points here to getting a 65 millimeter whoop to fly good are 1S only, 0802 25,000 kV motors or higher, 4-bladed gem fan props, those are the big ones. Those are the big three to getting a 65 millimeter whoop that flies good. 1S versus 2S because it's way lighter. 0802 25,000 just because it's the best motor option. The 4-blade props just make more thrust. And the either Tiny Whoop Gold or We Bleed FPV batteries for sure. Jody Droid says, "Are you telling people that PIDs don't matter?" Definitely not. I never said that, nor will I ever say that. Are you suggesting we learn to fly around a shitty tune? Absolutely. Absolutely learn to fly around a shitty tune. That is one of the best things that you can do to get better as a pilot. So disappointed in this advice, shame on you. In this advice, shame on you. It's hard to tell sarcasm. I can't tell if that's sarcastic or not. If it's not, that's fine. In my opinion, it's the truth. And you know, I come at it from the perspective of, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I qualified it. It's, yeah, everything that I've said stands 100%. I'm 100% behind what I said. And in the 5 years that I've been to this hobby, that is the best advice that I can possibly give you guys, in relation to that. You don't have to follow that advice. There's absolutely no reason for you to follow that advice. Who the fuck am I? You know, just a gangly shitbag on the internet. But that is my advice. If you want to get better as a pilot, if you want to fly more, yeah. License to Drive says Albert Kim did an interesting video about stock PIDs 4 days ago. Weird. Maybe I was maybe my ears were ringing or something. Gemfan YouTube just did the thing. There we go. Ranger 308 means I've seen. Oh God. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Journey Droid says, not seeing the point. FFS, I know you don't believe this. I do. You know, I didn't used to, per se. But yeah, in working one-on-one with a lot of people, helping them fly better, and just, yeah, continuing to learn and be, yeah. Like why does a sloppy tune matter, right? If nobody's gonna see your footage. And I mean, if you want it to be less sloppy, you're gonna. So like, I'm giving advice that you guys can then do whatever you want with, and I'm happy to be giving advice that's opposite of what most of the advice that people take are from is from the pro pilots, right? Pro pilots, their footage ends up being seen by tons of people. Pro pilots have a really good reason to crank up their tunes. You guys, from what I've heard in the chat, typically don't show your footage to anybody. So, like, there's a time and a place to listen to a pro pilot, but in terms of the tune, kind of isn't. Pretty much all of the folks in FPV have taken this tuning advice from all of the pro pilots because they want to be like the pros themselves. But what you're not understanding is, to get to the point of being a pro pilot, you have to fly thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. And I want to get you guys to that point as quick as possible. And one of the best ways to do that is to help you stay up in the air as much as possible. And the stock tune will do that. Period. Like, you cannot argue that. You're arguing with a fact. Betaflight specifically keeps their stock tune backed off for that reason, and for the reason that if you do a build with kind of shitty electronics that are noisy, you can still get up in the air. So if you want to get good as fast as possible, stock tune with good components, Acon ESC, Acon flight controller, you know, we won't dive into motors. It's the best way to do it. If you can argue that point, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear an argument for that point. Because I've thought about it a lot. And yeah, you know, I mean, one of the things that keeps the lights on in this apartment is me helping people out with tuning. So by me saying this, what I'm basically saying is, hey, don't give me any money. So, you know, I better damn well believe it. Because it hurts, it literally hurts me, right, to give this advice. But it's never been, and it never will be about money for me. It's about you guys having the best experience possible. And I know how good it feels to get good at flying. And I've found ways to help other people get better quicker, and this is one of those ways. I haven't worked one-on-one with anybody in flight instruction in a while, so maybe this is me just desperate to help you guys fly better. Because again, I know how great it feels to get better at flying. And if I'm not going to work one-on-one with any of you guys, I'm going to work harder here on the live streams for free, giving you guys advice and tips to do that for yourselves. Maybe that, you know, maybe that's why I'm saying it. I don't know. But yeah, if you can argue that, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear an argument as to how a better tune is going to help you be a better pilot. Because I've never experienced that. Nobody that I've ever talked to has ever experienced that. So yeah, if there is an example of that, by all means, I want to hear that, because that's fascinating to me. Dan Richmond got a shirt today too. Also love this package. Easy to tell who it's from. Love it, Dan. Enjoy, my man. Chuck Saul says, "What up, man? How do you feel about Spectrum radios?" I don't really think there's any point in Spectrum radios with FPV at this in 2021. That was more of like a 2018, 2019, 2017 thing. Nowadays, FR Sky or TBS or Jumper. Spectrum radios are more for like the wing crowd, or I don't know, somebody not in FPV. I guess you could make the argument that a Spectrum radio with a Crossfire module in it is fine. But I don't know. God forbid you ever have to come off of Crossfire. A Spectrum radio is not going to be good, because their protocol does not work well with FPV rigs. So, Johnny Droid says, as do adjusting I and D. You're digging a hole here. Maybe not. Dan636 says, I agree, it does become more fragile. Johnny Droid says, CiottiFPV is some of that background or sauce tonight. Turn down your PIDs, unsubscribed. Definitely don't turn them down. But just think about it, you know. And I, you know, I'm also kind of like I was saying a minute ago, like we've become like indoctrinated to believe that that stock PIDs are the devil, right? So like we're all over here, and like I forgot that Bot is all about stock PIDs too, but he's about stock PIDs for a different reason, I think. I'm totally fine with Bot and I being over here in hopes that we pull some of you guys towards the middle. But like, as I've thought more and more about it, I actually really do believe that for most people, stock PIDs are the best bet. Because it's going to make you work harder, and it's going to make you see bad flight behaviors. You know what really kind of clued me into this lately is flying micros. Because micros are not, the mechanical system on a micro is nowhere near as locked in. Hey, hold on. It's 10:40. At roughly 11 o'clock, the giveaways are going to start. So if you want to get in on a full, if you want to get the chance to win an entire build tonight, you got to join my Patreon on the $5, $10, or $20 tiers. The $5 tier will get you entered once. The $20 tier will get you entered. I'm sorry, the $10 tier will get you entered twice. The $20 tier will get you entered 4 times. Or you got to wait for me to say, okay, now, and we're going to do a super chat giveaway as well, where you can do a super chat or a PayPal for $5 or $10 to get on a wheel once or twice. Micros, 3-inch rigs specifically. Well, no, that's silly. Micros, they haven't had the R&D cycle that 5-inch rigs have. So the mechanical systems are just not as good. They're not as refined as 5-inch freestyle rigs. So with a micro, the tuning process is different. It's more difficult. It's less conventional. So these rigs don't fly as good. And in realizing that lately, I realized that it shows me where I'm making piloting mistakes. And learning where you're making mistakes is the way to improve. It's the only way, right, to improve on those mistakes. And I guess you could argue that once the tune is cranked up, those mistakes won't happen. But that's not really true, because if you make that mistake bad enough, it absolutely will happen. Even if you have the best tune in the world, you can still put it into a situation where it'll prop wash. And so when you're practicing, and when you're not flying with an HD camera, and when you're not flying footage that you're going to give to a director, that's the time, or footage that's not going to go up on the internet, right? That's the time to get better, to get good. And the shittier the tune, the more obvious that's going to be, the more you're going to learn, and the more you learn, the better you're going to get. So, yeah. And again, if you guys have if somebody has a good argument for that, like, for real, bring it. Like, I don't care. This is just me talking, right? Like, prove me wrong, please. Please prove me wrong. I want to be wrong, because when I'm wrong, much like when you fly a stock tune and it's sloppy in prop wash, it's a good opportunity to learn to be better. And that's what life is, right? Be wrong all the time. I'm wrong all the time. That's why I know so much, because I'm willing to be wrong, and I'm willing to learn from that and grow from that. So be wrong. Fail. Fail all the time. When you fail and you have the strength to recognize it and not make excuses and go, oh no, it's because of the pandemic that this happened, then you improve as a human being here on Earth. And that's what it's all about, for me, at least. If it's not all about that for you, that's totally fine. But be careful, because when you are wrong and you don't cop to it, and there are other people involved, they're going to notice, and they ain't going to like it. Nobody likes that person, right? We've all run into those people. So, careful. But yeah. The N636 says, stock tune is good, especially if you daily the filtering into your quad. Daily? Especially if you daily the filtering into your quad. Dial the filtering into your quad. Yeah, I mean, reducing filtering is gonna very, very, very slightly reduce latency. You could kind of make the same argument with latency, though. You could make the argument that dealing with more latency, and then at some point, when you become pro, let's say, reducing the latency, because filtering is kind of the same thing. The more filtering, the safer the system. But there is, like, the filtering tips that I have in Tech Talk over on the Patreon channel. That is a very safe way to remove a bunch of latency, but still have a completely safe filter setup. So, yeah, P-gain doesn't really reduce latency. Extra P-gain doesn't reduce latency. Nor does extra I-gain or extra D-gain. Feed forward does. Cranking your feed forward way the hell up, and then doing my simple filtering adjustment, I think is probably the best way. That's probably the best way to get good. If you're not trying to get good, though, then don't listen to any of this. You know, this is the way to get better faster, and have a rig that's less fragile. If you don't want that, that's fine. You know, totally fine. Chris Croft says, no ELRS over SPI is a pain, as you have to have a custom Betaflight build. Each ELRS firmware needs to be built in over a UART. Really? What? What? I haven't heard of this. Steady Eddie says, tried my instant. I'm not ready for ELRS anyway, so when I'm ready to do the ELRS thing, I'll do a bunch of learning. That's interesting, Chris. I had no idea. Steady Eddie says, I tried my Insta360 Go 2 on my Acroby, sank like a rock. Was it the original 360 you had on a little Whoop? Beta 85 lifts the Go 2 pretty good. The 65 millimeter Whoop will carry the original Insta360 Go, which is an 18 gram payload. In order to carry the Insta360 Go 2, you gotta. I had to bump up to a 75 millimeter setup. I didn't even try it on a 65 mil setup. I just assumed that it wouldn't do it because it barely picks up the 18 gram Insta360 Go 1. So yeah, 75 mil with 0803 20,000 kV motors, 22,000 kV motors. I forget. Whatever the new T-Motor 0803s are, these are their prototypes. Yeah, these are what I've found to be the best bet for picking up the Insta360 Go 2. Come on. Good comments tonight. Dready Dread says, you're not running stock tune. You suggest that 99% of pilots fly stock, claiming to be in the 1% of pilots. How humble of you. No, I mean, I very specifically said 1% of pilots, their footage gets, you know, viewed. I try very hard not to be very humble, which is why I very specifically said a little bit ago that, yeah, I like my flight footage goes here on these live streams. It goes on my YouTube channel with 5,000 plus subscribers, and it goes into the hands of directors that hire me for a lot of money to fly, and they want it to look good. So I have a very specific reason for it. I was very careful to specifically say, if you're not carrying an HD camera and if you're just flying for your own enjoyment, right? So I thought that was me being realistic, but I don't know. Johnny Droid seems pissed at me tonight. GrizzFPV says, CiottiFPV is truly right about PIDs. I've flown for 5 years. I didn't start tuning until 2 years ago. Grizz knows what's up. B-Man says, I think your point is if you're just flying rigs without extra payloads, then the stock tune that's out there is sufficient. That definitely, but I'm actually saying even more than that. I'm even being more nuts than that. If it's washy, fly it out. If you got cameras, then a tune-up will help. Yeah, I mean, that is what I'm saying, but even more so than that, I'm saying that you know, even if you fly with a GoPro, if you're the only one looking at the footage, the stock tune is going to help you. It's going to help you. It's going to help you be a better pilot. But that's the thing. If you don't want to be a better pilot, then you know, I was very specific to call that out. Metal Dixon says, "Are we talking about tuning PIDs or reducing filtering as if they are the same thing?" Not really. Not really. I think I think I just covered that though, Metal. Metal Dirtskin wrote that at 10:36. It's now 10:50. So, Metal, if you're still wondering about that question, copy it, paste it, and I'll answer it. But I think I just covered that a minute ago. License to Drive says, another analogy, cars. Oh my God, cars are a fucking perfect analogy. I'll read the rest of that comment in a second. Cars are a perfect analogy to this. A perfect fucking analogy for this. When I was an autocross instructor for 7 or 8 years, my least favorite thing was when a noob would come to me with a car that was already built with high spring rates. To be honest, anything. If the best thing that my students could do was show up with a completely stock car on horrible tires, terrible, terrible, terrible sloppy mess. Nobody would do that because everybody in the car world, much like the FPV world, has this like thing where it's like, no, I have to be good from day one or I'll be embarrassed. And like, I totally get that. I fucking completely understand that. I get it. But what is important to understand is the best thing you can possibly do is show up with something that sucks. Because when I would get a new person that would have a completely stock car, it would be slow as hell, so they would be able to notice all of the movements much more slowly, well, yeah, they would be able to notice the movements, and they would have less fear because they would be going slower. And they would be able to then build the car part by part to actually see A, what the changes are doing, and B, if the changes are helping or hurting the system. And the students that I would have that would be rookies of the year were the ones that would come to me with a stone stock car. And then the ones that would come to me with a fucking roll caged, you know, rig on like Hoosier A6s, which are like the softest compound slick you could run, and all this wild stuff, they would struggle horribly. And they would usually quit, to be honest with you. They would usually stop coming to the events because they wouldn't be able to learn, because their car was so fast that they weren't a good enough driver to be able to handle it. And also, when you do these things to a car, it makes it more snappy and it makes it more on edge. And that's just the worst possible thing when you're trying to learn. So I would literally tell people, if you have any of your stock parts again and you actually want to get good, put as many of them back on as you're willing to put back on. And the people that would do that would have great success. And the people that wouldn't would have a horrible time. When you're learning, the sloppier it is and the worse it is to some extent, the harder you're going to have to work and the faster you're going to learn. And so again, if it's about learning and if it's about getting good, I can help with that. Yeah, because I've been down this road. License to Drive says, another analogy, cars, average commuters don't go to the garage and ask for their car to be tuned to perform like a race car. Yep. Steady Eddie says, I had someone comment on my crash compilation from Rampage saying, man, this guy needs to learn to fly and spend more time in the sim. Who cares? I had a blast and got lots of stick time. What's funny, Steady Eddie, is that person has absolutely no idea how to actually get good. Crashing is one of the best ways to get good. So what's really funny is that person that left that comment, they're going to be a much shittier pilot because they just don't get it at all. You know what I mean? What you're doing, Steady Eddie, by crashing, and then specifically by making a crash compilation to fucking celebrate that shit and not be embarrassed about it, you're gonna be a way better pilot way sooner than that person. McConnell Studios is in the house. What's up, Matt? Thanks for the build planning session. Made it on the plane with 15 lipos, no issue. Off to the UAE. Hope to rip a few and whoop some too. Very cool. Can't wait to see some of that footage, man. Johnny Dread says, have you flown stock PIDs in the last 12 months? I have. Wouldn't recommend it if you know how to tune. My PIDs that I fly on all my rigs are pretty damn close to stock. They're only 10 to 15 points away from stock. And yeah, I was flying stock PIDs 2 days ago, and they were surprisingly good. Stock PIDs can be really good if you have a proper frame, motor, propeller, battery combo. That's kind of the dirty little secret of building. Whack FPV says, stock PIDs are good, that's all I fly. The only change is my rates. Changing rates is very important. I absolutely, you guys should be changing your rates to fit your specific brain. Rob Oxison says, I just read the title. What? Teardown? Yeah, there's a weird twitch. So I'm gonna pull this down, and maybe I'm not gonna tear it down. Maybe I'm just gonna add a capacitor. If I can find a spot for it, I'm just gonna try adding a capacitor. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I probably won't have time because I'm on this tuning tirade tonight. Let me actually change the... I'm going to change the title to... I'm going to take that out of there, and I'm going to change it to Stock PIDs are better for 99% of pilots. There we go. Dan636 says, I literally can't argue with that. Rob Axison says, learn from your wrongness. Doom239 says, failure is a key to success. You guys know what's what. McConnell Studio says, I always aim to fail better. Hell yeah. Orga says, unless you fail in not getting COVID, that is because of the pandemic. Rob Axison says, do I need to remind you of the wiring snafu? I can quote Remy Tim if needed. I don't remember. There have been so many snafus lately. Family Guyver says, are people liking ELRS better than Crossfire now? Does it still have good penetration? It's a lot cheaper. I feel like all I hear lately is that I'm an idiot for still being on Crossfire, and then if I don't start using ELRS, I should just kill myself. I don't know. Crossfire has worked really well for a long time for a lot of people. ELRS is absolutely brand new, and I typically stay away from absolutely brand new stuff. So I'm not on the ELRS train yet. There is a 900 megahertz version of ELRS. The fact that it's 900 megahertz, it's going to have slightly better penetration than 2.4. That's just physics. If there's a... But I don't know, I'll leave it there because I don't know a ton about ELRS because I'm not making the switch yet. I will almost certainly make the switch at some point because ELRS on a tiny whoop is better, like, period. Mainly because it's going to be lighter. But, I don't know, more to come. I try not to talk too much about ELRS because I haven't done a lot of research on it because I'm not ready to do it, to move over to it yet. But a lot of people have been saying a lot of good stuff about it. And quite frankly, it's open source, and that's a big deal. You know, Betaflight is hands down the best flight firmware, in part because it's open source. So, yeah, open source is a really, really, really good thing, and it's also really good to support. I really like the idea of supporting open source, if at all possible. Metadurskin says, how would you relate this to always learning to fly the same rig? Would learning to fly a bunch of different quads also make you better? No. No, because muscle memory is muscle memory. Yeah. Learning to fly a bunch of different quads is going to make you it's going to make you better at flying a bunch of different quads. So, like, for example, if you go to fly somebody else's rig, if you're somebody that... So, like, Steel, for example, right? When Steel flies somebody else's rig, he's going to have a harder time than me. I fly a lot of different rigs, so I get used... So I don't have, like, this very narrow kind of muscle memory, right? So that would probably be the only situation where I would ever potentially be a better pilot than Steele. Would be flying an unfamiliar rig. He would still probably be miles better than me, but I think you guys know what I'm saying there. But yeah, the stock tune versus flying the same thing over and over again, they're two completely different, two completely different things. It's a good thought, though. Kenny Kobe says, ask him if he can do what you do or build his own. I don't know what that's in reference to, Kenny Kobe. Tag me again and give me a little bit more to go on. I don't know what you're getting at. Dan636 says, gotta walk before you run. Very true. Bob Noxious says, I believe that a pilot hones his stick skills first, then dials in the tune to better fine-tune the pilot's stick skills. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the longer that you wait to do that, the harder you're going to have to work and the better you're going to get. Here's another fun analogy. We used to have a guy that would show up to the autocrosses in a pickup truck, which is possibly the worst platform to do that in. He got so good as a driver because he had to work on... Well, you know what? I'm actually a really good example of this. When I started, I had the same experience as him. When I started autocrossing, it was in a 96 Mustang Cobra convertible. That is not a good platform at all to be autocrossing with. When I switched over to a Miata, which is one of the better platforms to autocross with, I won 2 Driver of the Year trophies in a row in all of South New Jersey. And a big part of that was because I was working with a shitty system, and I was having to work extra hard to get around that shitty platform that I was on. And then once I got onto a good platform, it's, I was swinging with a weighted bat. And that's another sort of analogy for it. So yeah, there's a million analogies for it. Journey Dread says, not at all pissed, love a good heated debate. Gotta admit, though, your stance on PIDs sound much like Steele's thoughts on the AOS 5. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, my big takeaway from him flying the AOS 5 was that he just kept saying, like, it flies like a quad. And, yeah, I mean, that's kind of true. And that AOS 5 was on stock PIDs, I believe. So, yeah, I don't know. But I think if you really change your mindset to be all about just getting good, trying to get good, you'll kind of understand. I think that's where the disconnect might be here. Double A says 5 years in, I agree with CiottiFPV. Quadzimoto says, sorry I'm late. Hello, friend and collective. What's up, brother? James Pollock with $1 super chat. Thank you, James. Much appreciated for the support. Dan636 says, Kenny Kobe, that's why he's saying what he's saying. No newbie wants his $300 quad to burn a motor first flight. First time they clip a branch. What you guys are saying, I believe, in the FPV community, actually trying to make it something bigger than it is now. Yeah, it's another really important thing for new people, because when you're new, you don't know what the warning signs are of an ESC or a motor that are about to grenade. So anything but the stock tune is a really bad idea for somebody that's new. I would say like your first year. Absolutely, hands down, for your first year, you should not be tuning. Because in your first year, you're not going to be producing footage that anybody wants to watch. You're flying for your first year. Well, I'll say this, for my first year. My first year of flying, anybody that would watch my footage would get nauseous. And there's absolutely no way that somebody's going to pay for that footage, in my opinion. So yeah, for your first year, I think it's really important to just not touch it and just focus on all of the other things, right? And that's kind of the other thing. There's already so much shit for us to worry about, and there's so many opportunities to improve and other things that make a bigger impact on flight performance. Those are the things that you should be focusing on in your first year, not tuning. Tuning is this horrible black hole of pain and destruction and awfulness. And I've seen so many people waste so much goddamn time obsessed over tuning, and I'm just tired of it, to be completely honest. Rob says 99% of people going to the firearms range don't realize 99% of firearms will outshoot the handler. Yeah, It's another fun analogy. Scrolling. Yeah, this happens this happens with everything. You know, this happens everywhere. That when you're new, you get obsessed with trying to have the thing that you're working with be as good as possible so that you can get as good as possible. What most people don't understand is that's completely counterintuitive. And it's been, and I've seen it. I've seen it in airsoft. I've seen it in motorsport. I've seen it in drums. And I've seen it in FPV. I've seen it in photography as well, videography. So yeah. Swing with a weighted bat, friends. You'll get better faster, and that feels good. And plus, it's kind of fun. Like when you're using shitty gear, you can be like, yeah, I'm using shitty gear. I'm still better than you. What? .661 flies a lot of different sizes and powers of quads. Pain in the ass. Absolutely does not make me a better pilot. Yeah, me too, 661. It's it's fun, but it just ruins your muscle memory. It really does. Cody Essay says, stock PIDs are best for me. Every time I change the PIDs makes it worse. That's another big part of it, right? Like when you're new and you change the PIDs, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And a lot of times you can very easily make the rig literally fly worse. If you wait a year, then like you just have such a better base, and when you start to make the changes, see, one of the things that's really hard is when you don't know what you're doing, when you're new, and you make a change to the PIDs, placebo kicks in, you're like, oh yeah, it's definitely better. Somebody else will come fly a rig and be like, what the fuck is happening here? What did you do to this? You just don't know. You don't know what these bad characteristics feel like until you've flown 1,000 batteries. So yeah, it's you're just chasing your tail and just wasting time. You're just wasting time. That's really what it is. Changing PIDs when you're new is just a waste of time. It's a complete waste of time in most cases. Unless I'll say this, unless the rig has a bad setup, a bad combination of props to motors to battery to frame, and it full-blown doesn't fly right. But usually that's not the case with stock PIDs. Usually stock PIDs will fly good enough, and you can just focus on flying and just focus on getting as much stick time in, and then eventually when you start to get good and you start to carry an HD cam and you start to have your footage be watchable by other people, that's the right time. Remy Tim says, sorry to jump in late to the tuning talk. I think another way to look at CiottiFPV's point is stock Betaflight flies awesome if you build well. That too. Abso-fucking-lutely. And as I've said a million times, using the PIDs to correct a bad mechanical system, a bad build, is a bad idea. So if you have your stock PIDs in there and your rig flies like really bad, stop, fix it. Fix the motors, fix the props, fix the frame, figure out what the problem is with the rig so that it flies decent. Stock PIDs are a great starting point. They're the perfect starting point. And if you have a good build, stock PIDs are going to fly just right, and you're going to be able to get good as a pilot quicker than somebody that's pouring a whole bunch of time into trying to learn how to tune too early, or even worse, taking somebody else's tune and tricking themselves into thinking that it flies good, because it doesn't. Tunes need to be specific to each rig. Remy Tim also says, discourage you from flying a quad that has bad oscillations or motor heat or jittering, but none of those issues are caused by default PIDs for a 5-inch on Betaflight. I mean, yeah, very true. Very, very true. Dan636 says, that chassis was like Jello, wasn't it? Yeah, the Fox body chassis is a mess. It is a mess. Issues like that are hardware issues. Take the time to build your quad. Okay, yeah, now I get where you're going with that, Dan. Take the time to build your quad well and then go fly it on defaults, and the quad will likely fly 80-90% tuned perfectly, and that's good enough for most people. Absolutely, 100%. Rob Oxton says, here you go. So I just noticed it's 11, so I'm going to rip through the rest of these to get caught up, and then we're going to do the giveaways. Rob Oxton says, I don't know what's wrong. Chat, any ideas? And don't you covers tell me it's a wiring harness, because I've checked that shit. Oh, yeah, right. Gotcha. Yeah, no, that wasn't a wiring harness issue. That was a me looking at the wrong wiring diagram issue. The wiring harness was totally fine. Just the wires were in the wrong spots. Jordy Dread says, to be clear, if someone hasn't yet learned to fly, there isn't a point to tuning. However, saying that an untuned quad flies better than a tuned quad is patently absurd. I have never and will never say that. So I don't know where you got that from, Journey Droid, but absolutely, I mean, you're absolutely right. But I never, ever, ever said that. If something that I said led you guys to believe I was saying that, I'm very sorry, because that is absolutely not true. And I would never, ever, ever, ever say that, or anything remotely close to that. I have a feeling I didn't say that because somebody else would have called me on it. So I have a feeling that you might have misunderstood something I said, Journey Droid. I apologize for that. But yeah, I was absolutely not saying that in any way, shape, or form. Flyzone Drone says, what up? Jay Drone says, Nathan Loop still uses busted up Amway Commander goggles. Look how he rips. Yeah, you know, I use $60 Eachine VR 007s for a year and a half of flying. My first year and a half of flying, and they were awful. You know, the quad camp video where I did power loops that none of the pro pilots that were there, Ladrib, Stinger Swarm, Bot, Tommy, Joshua, forget who else. Yeah, I did what they couldn't do, and then I Matty flipped them motherfuckers. They didn't even think of that. Joshua specifically said there's absolutely no way that I would be able to do the Matty flip. And I did it with the shittiest box goggles in the world. Not the shittiest in the world. But yeah, $60 box goggles, or 70 or 80, I forget. 661 only flies ELRS because it's cheap and it comes on AIO Whoop boards. Came from R9 to ELRS, so there's that. R9 worked great for me on bigger quads, but D8 range on Whoops just sucks. Rocksteady FPV says, what's up? Rates are more important for first year. Absolutely. Flyzone says, aren't stock PIDs in beta flight around 667s total? PIDs are not, Flydrone, you're thinking of rates. PIDs don't use numbers that high. I think you're thinking about rates. 667 doesn't relate to PIDs in any way, so I'm assuming that you're talking about rates. Chuck King says, don't forget that like button, folks. Good night, everybody. CiottiFPV. Tried to send a super chat, forgot my password again. I'll get you next time. Thanks for hanging, Chuck King. Jason Crabtree says, did you see Bardwell's video on putting crossfire power on a switch? I did. I like that idea. I think I like that idea, and I think I might do it, but I'm going to give it a bunch more thought, because there's a chance that there are situations where... So my initial thought was to put it on the arm switch. So on disarmed, it would be 25 milliwatts, and on armed, it would be 500 or 1 watt or whatever. But it's possible that there are scenarios where I wouldn't want that to happen when I disarm. For example, you're really far away, and it fail-safes. Typically, you will disarm and rearm. And I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if it's a good idea if it fail-safes to disarm and have it go down to 25 milliwatts, and then there's no shot in hell of a reconnection. But then I guess if you rearm, then it kicks it back up. But is that little lag time, you know, that lag time where it's at 25 milliwatts ain't gonna help anything. Noah, you're looking at you're in the same headspace. If you land on a roof, you aren't going to want that, right? If you land in a challenging spot and you disarm and it you know, loses connection, I guess when you then rearm, potentially it's going to reconnect, but I just don't know. I don't, you know, I don't just dive into changes like that. I really think them through. And this is something that I really need to think through. For the same reason that I run the low power VTX on until first arm. After I arm it the first time, I never want my VTX power to come down unless I go into the menu to do it myself. This strikes me as a similar situation where I don't necessarily know if I want the crossfire power to go down at all when I disarm. It seems like a great idea when I'm just plugging the quad in, but I don't care about the buzz. I mean, that's really it, right? I don't care about the buzz. So why add any complexity? So yeah, I love it conceptually, but if there's any possible chance that I'm gonna lose a rig because of it, and yeah, Crossfire, the way I've had it set up, has been totally fine. The way I have it set up now, at least. Dan636 says, that's the king. Thank you, brother. Cody SA says, I've been flying for 3 years, had no interest in PIDs, just have so much fun flying. There you go. Cody SA is doing it right. I mean, it's worth trying. I will say it's worth trying, Cody. Take your P gains and your D gains and turn them up by 10. Fly it. See what it's like. If you like it better, awesome. But be mindful with it. You know, don't just do it because everybody else is doing it. And that's I think that's what I'm trying to blast, is the fact that everybody thinks that that stock tunes are unflyable, and if you're flying stock tunes, you're an idiot. And nothing could be farther from the truth. I think the people that continue to fly stock tunes actually are the ones that are either afraid of it. I think most people are afraid of changing them. At least I was. Or they actually get it. So yeah, I want people to think about it, you know, because people aren't. Nobody thinks about it. Nobody even thinks that it's a possibility to fly stock PIDs, and that's ridiculous. It's actually really important to fly stock PIDs because it opens your eyes to what cranked up PIDs are actually improving, and it opens your eyes to the holes in your game and the holes in your flying. And, you know, top of the list for me is being as good of a pilot as possible. If that's not your priorities, that's totally fine. No wrong answers. But yeah, for me, it's a big deal. June Logo says, you killed just sheet. What's that mean? 661 says, don't put your power level on an arm switch. What if you disarm and you're far away? Yeah, exactly. The other option is you put it on a separate switch. I actually don't have any extra. No, I do have an extra switch, but that adds another thing that you can potentially forget about, right? You leave it on 25 milliwatts, you go fly 1,000 yards away, and it drops out of the sky, and you lose the rig forever because you forgot to hit the switch. You know, if there's one less switch for me to hit, hell yeah. Because when you're in a situation that's really stressful, you're gonna forget everything that you can possibly forget. So yeah, I try to have, in all of life, I try to just simplify everything. Specifically things that I'm gonna have to do during stressful situations. Oh boy, do I try to simplify those, to just mitigate and minimize the amount of, minimize the amount of possible opportunities to fuck up. Jason Crabtree says, completely agree, I would put Crossfire on a separate switch than the ARM. FEB Trucker says 357 stock PIDs all day, baby. Dan636 says, like practicing guitar, you don't practice with distortion so you can hear the mistakes distortion covers. There we go, that's a great analogy. JT Custom Knives says, I think the reason PIDs are appealing to new pilots is because they're looking for any reason why their skill sucks. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. I think I called that out 15 minutes ago, but absolutely, JT, absolutely. FEB Trucker says, just kidding. Hey, I'm caught up. Let's do the goddamn giveaways. All right. So, just like normal, I'm going to play some flight videos because I do have to set the wheels up and do all that nonsense. So, let me get this going here. And so, one of the other perks of becoming a patron is you're going to get access to a Discord channel called the Video Collective. And in the Video Collective, that's your spot on my Discord channel to share your flight edits. And when computer's gonna go a little choppy here, so just bear with me. When your flight edit is in there and I do these giveaways, there's a chance I'll play it. And so that's what I'm doing right now. And come on. Here we go. Journey Druid says, Dan636, you tune your guitar, right? You could play around your detune strings, prop wash, or you could, tune the damn thing. I don't think that analogy works at all. Because by tuning the guitar, it's going to help you hear your mistakes, because you're going to know that the guitar is tuned properly. And so if you make a mistake, you can't blame it on the guitar. And that's what a stock tune is. If a stock tune is a tuned guitar, in that it makes it easier for you to see your mistakes. Maybe that's the disconnect, Drony Droid. When you tune when you tune a quad, the cranked up tune, by its very nature, covers up the problems, right? Prop wash is a problem of flying. Yes, there are quad movements that specifically put the rig into prop wash. And for those movements, you could argue that having a little bit more aggressive of a tune will help. But the majority, I can only think of one specific movement that is that. And again, if you figure out a way to do that movement on a stock tune with as little prop wash as possible, you're going to be a better pilot for that. And then when you put your tune on, it's going to be more locked in. See, that's the thing. That maybe that's the other disconnect here too, is that even with the perfect tune, putting your rig into situations. Let me say it a different way. Not flying around specific situations that put the rig into dirty air, as an example. The rig is going to have to work harder. It's going to create motor heat. It's going to suck battery power. So, yeah, don't do that. And one of the easier ways to not do that is to learn to fly while you're on a stock tune. All right, here we go. And we are going to go to... Is it not called? Oh, there it is. Video Collective. All right, cool. Looks like all of these tabs have refreshed. All right, so tonight we are going to be watching a little bit of flying from... Steady Eddie just put his up, so he gets skipped. We'll get him next time. CiottiFPV, Izzy Boop, and CiottiFPV. So let me open up a couple of tabs here with these lovely folks. I'm going to get Epidemic Sounds fired up as well. And what? Why is that there? What? What's happening? That's CMYK. Here comes the one and only Izziest of Boops. And we are gonna pause that. And then we're gonna get CiottiFPV. I try to reward the folks that that just randomly post in the Video Collective board, rather than the folks that remember it. Like Steady Eddie FPV posted it at 11:20, so he heard me say it, which is fine. That's totally fine. But I'm gonna reward the guys that posted in there when they didn't hear me say it. But maybe I'll get... So there's the trick. You got to remember before the stream, because if you post it during the stream, I'm gonna be like, no, I'm old, not on my lawn. Am I getting weirder? Like are these live streams, like, am I slowly falling into madness? Or is it like, or am I just as nuts as Steady Eddie says worth a shot? I love it, man. I love it. Yes? All right, well. As long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep losing my mind. I'll keep slowly descending into madness. Metal Dixon says, I think we're all falling into madness, frankly. Could be. Okay. Epidemic Sounds is coming on here. And... Whoa! Whoa! Jeez. Okay. Enjoy some of your fellow pilots flying around. Probably can't even hear me. But I'll be back with the wheels all set up. We're doing the giveaways. Stand by. Oh shit, the zoom mic is still on. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Desktop audio, there it is. And keystrokes are down again. God damn it, OBS. Alright, friends, I posted the links to those in the chat. Click on those links, subscribe to those people. Love their faces as much as you love mine. I don't know. Let me make sure I'm caught up on the chat. And alright, I see your RC quads. I'm gonna get it out of PayPal. Nobody else do it yet. Nobody else do the thing yet. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, shout out to Stephen Pratt. Stephen went up to a, I need to get him on here, actually. Hold on. Yeah, Stephen Pratt went up to one of the big tiers over on Patreon. I just want to give him a shout out. I got to get his name added to the intro there as well. All right, so the wheels are good to go. So, yeah. There's not really going to be anything going on. We're just going to spin the wheels a bunch of times. I'm going to make another main wheel that I put the winners of these wheel spins on, and then we're going to spin that last wheel, and that's going to be who wins the full build. In case you came in late, the full build is the best Tiny Whoop that you can build over on tinywhoop.com. It's their 0802 27,000 kV motors. Their pinch camera and VTX setup, which I've custom direct soldered a Singularity, True RC Singularity to. Couple of the Tiny Whoop 333 mAh batteries, some extra canopies, some extra 3D printed stuff. This thing rips. I built this on the stream a couple weeks ago and flew it. It flies amazing. Somebody's about to get one of the best flying Tiny Whoops in the world. So we're gonna spin a bunch of wheels and then we're gonna have a winner. So, nope, hold on. I need the keystrokes to work. I'll be right back. It's gonna pinwheel for a second. I gotta quit out of OBS and relaunch. All right, should be back. Let me just resize this window and okay, awesome. Hey, now we're talking. What's this button do? Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay, cool. So here we go. This is the first wheel. This is the $5 a month wheel. I'm gonna spin this one time. This is the Tiny Whoop and Toothpick tier over on the Patreon page. So we're gonna take one winner from this wheel. Then we're gonna go to the next wheel. We're gonna take 2. Next wheel we're gonna take 4. Ready? Whoever wins this has a pretty damn good chance of winning this full build. The goat screams, the wheel spins. Let's see who it's going to be. It might be Dan Richmond. I think it's going to be Dan Richmond. Dan Richmond, you have a chance of winning the full build. I'm going to... Wow, computer. Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Okay, that confetti, though. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to close this. I've got an extra wheel over here, and Dan Richmond is the first one on the winner's wheel, let's call it. So that's the Tiny Whoop and Toothpick tier. Now we're gonna move on to the $10 tier. So I'm gonna spin it twice. Ready? Somebody gonna win. That person's name is Aaron FPV. Almost T-Bird, but not quite. Aaron FPV. Oh god, the confetti again. Oh, please. Please, no. Please, no. I'm actually going to remove Aaron FPV, since he already won. I'm going to remove him from this wheel. I'm going to put him over here onto the winner's wheel. And now we're going to come back, and we're going to spin this one more time. If the computer ever recovers from the confetti. Ready? We're doing it again. Cody Essay with a $13.99 Canadian super chat. He says, gotta love your live streams. Meanwhile, Kevin Lee is going to be the next person onto the winner's wheel. Congratulations, Kevin. You are one step closer. All right, here is... All right, so we're good with those first two. I'm just going to close this. I don't need to remove Kevin because I'm not respinning this one. Right? So now we're going to go to the 5-inch tier, which is a $20 a month tier. and there are going to be, so I'm going to spin this 4 times. And all of you guys that are on the $30 and up tiers, you've been on all of these, so you're getting the same number of chances as all these guys. So it's yeah, that's why this method kind of works here. Ready? So we're going to do this 4 times. The confetti is going to make my shit melt. Listen to that goat slowly dying. John Godwin is going on the winner's wheel. Congratulations, John! Here we go. The confetti is just brutal. Oh, it's just awful. I'm going to remove John. I'm going to spin it again. Oh, the confetti and the wheel spinning. This poor computer. This poor computer. Wooden Props is the next winner. He's going on the winner wheel. I'm going to remove him. I'm going to add him over here. And we're going to go again. Oh, wow. Oh, boy. Come on. Come on. You got this, computer. Super Deluxe is the next one. Congratulations, Super. All right. I'm going to hit remove. And I'm going to come back over here. And there's Super Deluxe. So we've got $5 tier, $10 tier, $10 tier, $20, $20, $20. One more wheel spin on the $20 tier, and then we're going to do the Super Chat and PayPal stuff. Here we go. Ooh, ooh, the end of that goat scream got a little demonic. Ian Ovanell, I think he's one of the newer patrons. Congratulations, man, you are going onto the winner's wheel. You are one step closer to glory. And I'm just gonna close that. And all right, boys and girls, so there are your patrons. Now we're gonna do one more wheel. One more or 2 more? One more wheel spin. Yeah, one more wheel spin for Super Chat, starting now. Super Chat and or PayPal. If you want, hey, by the way, this is my full-time job. If you want to support me so that I can keep going, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. There's lots of good stuff going on. Patreon, Etsy, Fiverr, Teespring, and a whole bunch of affiliate links. If you keep scrolling down, there's a PayPal button. If you don't want, you can do a Super Chat now, starting now, for $5 to get on the wheel once. A separate wheel, not the winner's wheel here. A separate wheel that we're going to spin and then put the winner onto the winner's wheel. Yeah, $5 to get on this separate wheel once. $10 to get on this separate wheel twice. If you do a Super Chat, that's totally fine. Google and YouTube are going to take 30%. If you don't want that to happen, go to CiottiFPV.com, scroll down, there's a PayPal button, you can PayPal me directly. If you do that, do exactly what Kevin Sumner did, tag me in the chat and just say PayPal. Once I get everybody added, I'll say, hey, if you're not on the wheel, let me know. So, let's get that rolling here, and then we can get this wrapped up. It is, yeah, we're going to get this done just before 12. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So just in case anybody was wondering, throughout the process of like the last month of me saying like, hey, December I'm going to give a giveaway full builds, I only got 4 new patrons in that whole time, just to give you guys some idea. So yeah, I probably won't do the full build thing again. I don't know. You never know. You never know. Michael Hill sent $15 on PayPal, 2 entries for the Super Chat giveaway, and $5 extra for you, bud. RC Quads for the win. Thank you very much, Michael. I'm going to put you on this Super Chat wheel here 2 times. So the Super Chat wheel is this one over here. So once And let me make a bunch of spaces here. Once and twice. Like the hell goes on there. All right, great. Then we've got a little bit of Daniel Maurer, a $20 PayPal. That computer is riding the struggle bus for the M1. Dan, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you want to be on this wheel twice, and I'm gonna take 10 of it and use it to put you on the wheel 2 times, and then I'm gonna take the other 10, and the gear fund is gonna go from 255 to 265. Thank you very much, brother. Kevin Sumner, holy hell, with a $60 PayPal. I'm gonna put Kevin on the wheel 2 times, and then I'm gonna take 50 of that and put it into the gear fund. Damn, Kevin, thanks very much. Super generous. Where's the gear fund at? There it is. 265 goes to numbers 315, maybe? I think it's 315. Thank you, brother. Damn, very cool. Frank Nicholas sent $10. He's going on the wheel 2 times. Thank you, Frank. Generous as always, my man. Once and twice. You OGs are amazing. John Ray, Metal Dirtskin sent $10. He's going on the wheel 2 times. I'm going to put him on there as Metal Dirtskin. Once and twice. Thank you, John. Dan Maurer sent an extra $5 for 1 entry. I'm just going to leave him on the wheel twice. I don't do what I'm told. And I'm going to take his extra $5. I'm going to put it into the gear fund, because it'll make 315 go to 320, and that's a much more round number. Ha! Edward Ashley sends $10. Monday giveaway ×2. Thank you, Edward. Come on, I can't copy and paste anymore. All right, now I'm going to jump into the to the super chats here, and I got to scroll up a little bit. All right, so if you sent me PayPal and you're not on the wheel yet, say something. Say something in chat, because I've gotten everybody out of my emails. License to drive with a 4 squiggly lines. I think that means he goes on there twice. Correct me if I'm wrong. License to drive. I think that's a pound or sterling or something fun. Demenis says, "Put me on the wheel." That's an old. That's a lyric from a skit that Guar did. Not Guar. Was it Guar? Hold on. It was Guar. Was it Guar? I think it was Guar. That's a random bit of knowledge from my youth. Thank you for the sport, Demenis. Thank you for the sport license to drive. Journey Druid says, "Nothing matters to a beginner. I'm not. CiottiFPV is not. Assuming you are not. Who is this conversation for?" June Loco with a $5 super chat. He says, "Sign me up." Deal. June, let's get you on there. All right. And Metal Dirksen says PayPal by 2. RC Quad sent you 50. Okay, good. Good. Frank dropping the link to CiottiFPV.com. Thank you, brother. Kevin Sumner says PayPal. Good. Frank says sent 10 to PayPal. Awesome. Steady Eddie. PayPal ×2. Awesome. B-Man FPV with a $15 super chat. He says, "Hit me twice and yourself once." I don't want to win my own rig. I need less quads. So instead of putting myself on the wheel, I'm going to put 5 into the gear fund. No, I'm not, because that'll make it an odd number. I'm just going to take B-Man's $5 and buy myself a beer next time I'm out. Dan636 with a $10 super chat. He says, "Love your streams. Put me on there, but reroll if I come up. Brother, happy holidays." Dan636 with a reroll. Look at him. 2 rerolls, actually. Thank you, Dan. Very cool of you. Come on, there we go. Okay. Thank you for the support, Dan. Oh, wow. You guys are on fire. Euro FPV with a $10 super chat. He's going on the wheel 2 times. Once and twice. Flatirons FPV with a $19.99 super chat. Flatirons, I'm going to put you on the wheel 2 times, and I'm going to take the other $10, and I'm going to do real life things with it. I hope you're cool with that. Like, you know, I don't know, things. Kevin Sumner says, quick, someone sends CiottiFPV $100. Ruby Tim says, okay, now put the gear fund to 325 and -1 entry for me. No. No! I will not. I want you to win a little bit more. License to drive says 4 pounds is a touch over $5. All right, so I'm going to pull license to drive off 1 time. I thought the exchange rate was pretty much double. But now that I think about it, it's a little bit less than double. I didn't realize it was that much less than double. It's interesting. Go-Kart Mozart with a $9.99 super chat. He's going on the wheel 2 times. Thank you, Go-Kart. And once. Twice. Cody Essay with $6.99 Canadian. I want to say that that's roughly the same as $5 in cheeseburgers. So I'm going to put Cody on there twice. Cody, let me know if... I'm sorry, I'm putting Cody on there once. Let me know if I need to put you on there twice. I think we're good. If you should be on the wheel, but you're not, let me know, because I'm about to spin it. So you should be on the wheel. You should have seen me put you on the wheel by now. If you didn't see me put you on the wheel by now, speak now, or you're not going to be on the wheel. Michael Scott Roos says, good flying with you Saturday. Yeah, I had a good time, Michael. I usually, so Friday, the local guys invited me out to fly with them, which was really cool. I always love to get invited to that. And a whole bunch of people from out of town came in. So there was a ton of people. And I was, I have the most fun when I'm flying with like one other person or alone. So I was worried that usually when there's a bunch of people, like I'm an anxious wreck. And I was worried about that, but I actually had a really good time. I don't know why, but yeah, I got to meet a bunch of fucking awesome people as always. It drives me nuts. I really hate that about myself, to be completely honest, because like I want to meet people, you know, but like I think there's a big difference between me like going out to fly and me going out to socialize, and combining those two things. And like one of the problems is that like when I go out, you know, like when I go out and there's a bunch of people, I fly like shit, and then I'm embarrassed as hell because people are watching. And so yeah, it's always kind of annoying, but in that respect. So I don't know, maybe I just went out and didn't give a shit. But whatever, I had a blast, so that's all that matters. JT Custom Knives with a $9.99 super chat. He's going on. He's gonna get rammed on the wheel twice. Jesus. Ooh, and I think PayPal just came through. Yes, it did. Matthew Vega with a $10 PayPal. He says, got some overtime today. Here's your cut. Happy Hanukkah. Thank you very much, Matthew Vega. Let's get you on there 2 times. Oh, nope. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. There we go. Matthew Vega. Add another couple. Thanks for the support, my man. Rocksteady FPV. No, we got Bob Noxious is next. $10 super chat. He's going on there twice. Put Family Guyver on there, and 5 for the Mac Fund. That's super cool of you, Bob. So Family Guyver is going on. And then the Mac Fund. I'm going to move the Mac Fund up to 330 because I lazily didn't put it to 325. So now the world is calm again. Rocksteady FPV with a $5 super chat. He's going on that wheel 1 time. Thank you for the support, Rocksteady, and Bob, and all of you other beautiful bastards. Matthew Vegas says, I sent you PayPal. Don't put me on the wheel, just spend it how you want. All right, I'm taking Matthew Vega off of the wheel. He just wants me to be able to eat and get health insurance at some point here. Mothernerdskin says, I also fly badly when people are watching. Well, more badly. Cool, so I think we're good. 30-ish more seconds, and then I'm going to spin this wheel, and this is going to be the last person that goes onto the winner's wheel that's going to win the full build. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Let me check my email one more time real quick. Let me just click Get Mail. and nothing's coming through, so we're good there. Go-Kart Mozart says, take shits, don't give them. It's a good saying. Ruby Tim says, I specifically sent a $20 to your gear fund. You only put 15 of my doll hairs into it. Fine. You get all my money anyway. What difference does it make? Don't give me all of it, Dan. Keep some for yourself. Don't put yourself out. I mean, I super appreciate it. But I think we're good. We're going to spin this shit and see what happens. And go! We had a preemptive goat. We fired, much like in the rest of my life, we fired the goat too early. Oh! Now I goated too late. Go-Kart Mozart is going on the big wheel. Congratulations, brother. We are gonna copy and paste and add. So here it is, boys and girls. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people on this wheel. Hopefully most of them are here. I'm clicking the shuffle button a million times, and then I'm gonna spin this goddamn wheel, and the person whose name comes up with computer crushing confetti is gonna win the full build. Ready? And go! John Godwin wins the full build. Congratulations, brother. I need you to wait. Was John? Well, I shuffled everything. John, you're probably on my Patreon. Yeah. You're on my Patreon, John. So I've got your info there. Yeah. Hopefully you're watching this either right now or you watch the replay. Otherwise, you're just gonna get a package in the mail with a rig. TinyWhoop.com is here. What's up, Jesse? How are you, man? Jesse, so this build that I just gave away is kind of like the ultimate TinyWhoop.com build. It's got your Profuse Juice 27,000 kV, and I built this on the stream last Wednesday and or the Wednesday before that, and ripped it all around, and it flies awesome. So yeah, I don't think John is in here, but I kind of like the idea of him not even seeing this stream and then just a beautiful full build shows up. That'd be super fun. But yeah, Jesse, this was super fun to build and fly around. I'm sad to see it go, but as I do with many things in my little fleet of rigs, I like really sort of unify everything. And the Goober canopy allows me to run this Insta360 Go holder on it, so I kind of have to do the Goober canopies because I just love carrying the Insta cameras around on Tiny Whoops. So this is going to go to a really good home, but there was a bunch of content surrounding this, and hopefully some folks are all over your high KV 0802s. Thank Jesse, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for making high KV 0802s. For us freestyle nerds, they are the answer. I mean, they are just so good. These 27,000s, I think I saw that you've now got 26,000s, maybe even 25,000s as well, and they're one-piece bells. So yeah, if you guys want like the freestyle motors, 0802 25,000 plus KV is definitely what you want. And Jesse sells those on TinyWhoop.com, and they're great. I'm sad to see this set go, but I'm excited to get this into the hands of somebody that's going to fly it more than me, to be completely honest with you guys. Congratulations, John Godwin. You are going to get one hell of a Tiny Whoop. And look at that. It's 11:54. So yeah, drop any last-minute questions that you guys have, because in 6 minutes I'm going to shut it down. And Yeah. So here's the deal with this week. The reason why today was, and the reason why today was a little bit of a rough day. One of the sort of agreements in the divorce with my ex-wife was that she get the cat, Harry. She was cool enough to basically say to me when she left me, you can have Harry for as long as you want, within reason, of course. Because, you know, like, she left, right? And like, you know, she made the decision for our marriage to end. And, so she basically knew, yeah, I took it a lot harder than her, right? She was making a decision to leave. I was having the most important person in my entire life for the last 15 years walk out the door and never come back. So that was very cool with her, very cool of her. It's been like 5 or 6 months now, so I should have done this earlier, but there's been lots of other shit going on. So tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, she's coming over here, and we're going to put him in the cage, and we're going to drive him to her apartment. I'm going to spend some time there with him. Hopefully he adjusts quick. And then, yeah. I'll, come back home here. And, Maggie's, hopefully coming over, to hang for a little bit. And then I'm probably going to, head up to her place for a few days. Because just when I lost my previous cat, Beta, the hardest thing was just like the silence and yeah, just being in my place without him was just brutal. So yeah, it's very cool that that Maggie and Sage and Azalea are cool with me coming and spending a few days there. So the live streams might be a little weird this week. I'm bringing enough stuff to Maggie's where I should be able to set up, and I've been meaning to do this. So this is a good kick in the ass to do it. A second streaming location there. I'm bringing an extra monitor, the laptop dock. I'm bringing a couple of the dongles that Frank Nicholas sent me to allow me to hook this external monitor up to the laptop dock. And a bunch of streaming, a bunch of my extra lighting stuff and shit that, in theory, I should be able to get like a half-decent little streaming setup going there. Thing is going to be like my tools aren't going to be there. I will have some tools, so I probably won't be able to do much building there. Although, as I say that, I realize that I might as well grab a one of my extra cutting mats and bring that with me. But I'm not going to have this top-down... I'm not going to have a top-down camera set up there. I'm just going to have a single camera setup, which will be pointing at my big dumb face. So yeah, I probably won't do much building there, but what I'm excited to actually do there is editing streams. That like editing and Q&A streams. I haven't done an editing stream in a long time. And I need to make a reel. I need to make a 2020 reel and a 2021 reel. So yeah, I'm actually really excited about that. Setting up a little streaming setup in the spare bedroom there. So that'll be kind of fun. I gotta jump on Facebook Marketplace and buy a desk, and I'm bringing my drum stool is actually already there. And yeah, so Wednesdays. So for the record, there's a chance that Wednesday's stream won't happen. It's actually a pretty good chance that Wednesday's stream might not happen because I'm probably going to be a wreck. But I'm going to try my best to give you guys something Wednesday night. I might still be there by Friday because, quite honestly, once Harry doesn't live in this apartment anymore, I can, I mean, other than the workbench, yeah, I don't necessarily need to be here. Which is another part of this, right? You know, I have moved on a lot faster than Kristen has, and my life now would really benefit from me. So, if you guys don't know, Harry has a lot of health problems. When I got Harry, he was fine. Not very well behaved, which was because he was in a lot of pain because he has pancreatitis and some other genetic pancreas problem. So his first like year and a half, 2 years of life, he was really bad. And it really like pushed me to my limits. I remember there were a couple points where it was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I might have to put him up for adoption. He was just real bad. And it was because he was in a lot of pain. But I stuck with it. Lots of Google searches, lots of research, lots of, you know, time and effort spent figuring out how to deal with a really bad, aggressive, angry cat. Well, 2 years into his life or so, he started to get really sick and lose a lot of weight. And basically, many thousands of dollars later, misdiagnoses, and it's hard to diagnose animals because they can't talk. So I'm not blaming the vet for the misdiagnoses. It's how it tends to go with animals when they get really sick. You end up spending a lot of money. You end up wasting a lot of money doing where the vets do the wrong things because they're just fucking throwing darts at a dartboard because, you know, you can't say to a cat, hey, what's wrong? Oh, it's, you know, my stomach. Yeah. Lots of debt later. He was healthy. He made it. He survived, and he became, now that, and since he wasn't in pain anymore, he really, like, became a lot better. And, like, so, yeah, that was a hell of a journey. And, yeah, it's the first time I'd had, like, a kitten. So there's a lot of, like really emotional kind of things surrounding him. But I'm in a situation now in my life where... So I was telling you that because a part of his pancreas problems, he needs to be fed absolutely 3 times a day, and there's a special powder that has to get mixed in, and it's expensive to feed him. So there's a lot of just real reasons that this is the right decision to make. But yeah, I'm in a situation in my life where it would be really nice not to have to feed a cat 3 times a day, every single day. So yeah, this is a hard decision, but it's the right decision because it was the agreement. And I mean, in fairness to Kristen, she even said to me at one point during this process, like, if you just want to keep him, I totally understand it. I'll just adopt a cat. And I was very, very tempted to do that, but it just doesn't make sense, and that was not the agreement. And Maggie's allergic to cats, so even though I'm a cat person through and through, maybe, you know, I had Beta for 13 years, and now I had Harry for 4 or 5 years, and that's great. You know, I'm very lucky to have gotten to live with those 2 amazing little creatures. But human creatures are more important, right? So, yeah, this is gonna be fucking rough, man. This is gonna be brutal. But I gotta do it. And sometimes life is brutal. And you just have to fucking suck it up sometimes and go through the hard shit. And just try to remember that the hard shit is what makes the good shit that much more special. So, yeah, if I disappear this week, that's why. Don't feel like you guys need to reach out to me. It's like, I appreciate it when you guys reach out to me when I'm going through hard shit, but at the same time, it's you know, sometimes I then feel like I have to explain myself. Speaking of, I was wondering if he was gonna wake the hell up. Yeah. This won't. There you go. I'm gonna put him down because if I'm holding him, I'm gonna start fucking bawling my eyes out. But yeah, I'm gonna get, there's story time for the day. Let me get caught up on chat and I'm gonna shut this down. B-Man says, seems like a pretty healthy breakup though. Divorces can be way more ruthless. Yeah, very, very healthy split. Kristen had said, like, you know, let's not get into that. But yeah, it was a very healthy breakup. We both acted very mature and continue to act very mature. I don't necessarily want to be friends with her, because when I interact with her, it brings up a lot of hurt. So yeah, like we probably won't stay in touch. Like we've been staying in touch because of him and because of, you know, other things, but once everything is completely settled, which is like, you know, we're pretty close. Yeah, I probably won't. Yeah, but that's fine. Other than that, though, it's yeah, we both were adults. Dr. Vigno says, what are the best motors for 2.5 inch freestyle 1504? 2.5 inch, you can actually go all the way down to a 1304. I'm a big fan of the RCX 1304 5000 kV, which is sold on MyRCMart. Pay $25 for shipping. The motors are very inexpensive. Make sure you remove the warranty. The motors are very inexpensive. They're like $8 a motor, and then just suck up the $25 shipping, because the $10 shipping will take like months to get to you. And in the grand scheme of things, those motors are so much cheaper than all the other ones that are available that, yeah, you'll end up probably paying less in the grand scheme of things. Or a 1404, but there actually aren't any 1404s that I like as much as the RCX 1304s. You got to make sure you have enough kV for 2.5 inch. Most of the 1304s and the 1504s are not a high enough kV for 2.5 inch if you run them on 4S. And you really want to try to not run more than 4S on a micro. So that's my suggestion. Kevin Sumner says, my cat now is 16, got me through a ton of shit. I feel for you, man. Yeah, it's cats are magic, man. They really are. Dan636, sorry you got to go through that. Family Giver says, time for your own personal pet. That's personal to you, my friend. Good luck. That's rough. Demenis says, should save a dog from the pound. I've had a dog. I'm a cat person. Dogs are great. I love dogs, but personally, I just there's just something about cats that I've always really connected with. Maggie's got a dog, Duke, who is awesome. Unfortunately, he's afraid of tiny whoops. So if I'm flying tiny whoops around, I'll probably have to like put him in his little crate bed thing. But whatever. We'll and I love Duke. He's hysterical. But if I had my choice, I'll always pick a cat over a dog. GrizzFPV says, I think I'm going over to the glide frame, been flying QAV Bardwell frame, and it broke the top and bottom plate on a light crash. I have not heard that about that QAVS frame, but I mean, it's, you never know. Demenis says, or a cat. Yeah, maybe if I can find a cat that Maggie is not allergic to, it's on. And the kids have always wanted a cat too, so it would kind of work in that respect. And what would be really, I would really, man, like in a perfect world, I would be able to find a cat that I would find with Sage and Azalea a cat that Maggie is not allergic to, and then I would have that cat here until I move in with all of them. That would be like amazing. Realistically, I don't think I'm gonna find a cat that Maggie's not allergic to, because like, you know, like being allergic to cats is you're allergic to almost all cats. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Realistically, there's gonna be enough going on with those three amazing people that I might not need a cat for that, you know, connection. So And that's fine too. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. JVFPV says, we love you. Thank you, brother. GrizzFPV says, there's nothing like losing a pet that takes a big chunk of your heart. Yeah, it's brutal. Luckily, I mean, you know, with Beta, my previous cat, you know, like they put him down. Like, they put him down. We had to put him down. And that was mega. I mean, that was brutal. You know, like, I was staring right at him as he took his last breath. I mean, it just crushed me. Harry's going to a good home, and I could technically go visit him. Probably won't, but, you know, I could. So hopefully it'll be different this time. I know it'll be different this time. But I also know it's still going to be hard as fuck. So, but again, life has plenty of hard as fuck stuff. So, eventually you got to go through it, and that's all this is. I'll get through it. License to Drive says, have you seen 533's new 5-inch frame, the Footy? They're sending me one so I can make TPU parts for it, and they'll send me any CAD file of their frames I want to help make the TPU parts. They actually sent me a prototype of that frame a long time ago, probably about a year ago. It's been in this room. There was a point where I thought I accidentally had it on camera, and I was like, ah, fuck, because, you know, they don't want people to see it ahead of time. I feel terrible. I haven't gotten a chance to build it. It was really heavy, and I couldn't show it on stream, so I had to build it like off stream, and off stream I don't do a lot of building, so I kind of feel awful that I didn't have a chance to build that. They didn't send me V2 of the prototype though, which I was happy about, because again I would have had trouble finding time to build it. So yeah, that's cool that you're getting tied into that though, License to Drive. That's rad. They're gonna love whatever you make for it. Everybody's gonna love what you make for it. Rob Axelson says, bring the lava lamp. Nah, I'll get a second one. Actually, I just won't have a lava lamp there. B-Man says, little stream on location, looking forward to it. Yeah, it'll be fun. Ruby Tim with a $9.99. He says, fund to adopt a little Draco Meowfoy. Nice, Remy. The Harry Potter puns will die with Kristen. Maggie and the kids really aren't into Harry Potter. I was into Harry Potter by proxy. It's a great story. I've read the books, I've seen all the movies. I think it's a great story, but I am absolutely fine with that not being a part of my life anymore, for the record. But so yeah, but that would be a hysterical name. Steady Eddie says, had the same thing in my voice back in 26. Sucks, man, you're strong in life, will move on. Absolutely. EE Doc says, how's Velocidrone run on the laptop? I was hoping it would run a lot better than it does on this computer, but it really doesn't. It doesn't run much better. But I don't know, we'll see. B-Man says, take a few days to yourself, please. I probably will, but we'll see. It does help me. It does help me sometimes to distract myself, and you guys are a wonderful distraction. You know, work is always a really good distraction, right? But we'll see. Like, I can't stream if I'm a total mess, right? Like, I really try not to cry on stream, basically. So we'll see. But a Wednesday stream might be a welcome distraction. So if I can do it, I will. But if I'm going to be a hot mess, I won't. That's just the way it is. I've learned that. IDV says, good morning from Belgium. Just woke up at 6 a.m. Almost time for school. Just catching the end of the stream. IDV, you should watch the first hour of the stream. We covered some really good ground today. Demenis says, I'll look for hypoallergenic cat. If I can find anything, I'll let you know. Sounds good. I think the only breed that's hypoallergenic is ragdolls. Unfortunately, they have a lot of health problems, so I probably won't go that route. Family Guyver says hairless cat. Believe it or not, hairless cats. So believe it or not, the cat's fur is not what most people are allergic to. It's their spit. Cats clean themselves by licking their fur, so their fur is covered in their spit. So a hairless cat is a little bit better because it doesn't have fur to hold all that split, but hairless cats do still clean themselves, so they're not hypoallergenic. The They're also crazy looking. I every time I'm around a hairless cat, I'm like weirdly uneasy. So I probably won't go that route. But I don't know. We'll see. B-Man says get a hairless cat. A friend of mine has one. They have some health issues, but they are interesting. Doc says they cost a butt ton. I don't really pay for animals. I adopt animals. So yeah. And then Demenis says Sphinx cat is supposed to be pretty good for allergies. Yeah, I'll do some research for sure. I'll do a bunch of research and learn some stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for bearing with me while I bared my soul. Congratulations, John Godwin. I need to open a tab. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to message John on Patreon so that he doesn't just get a random package in the mail. Because God forbid, like, he's not home or something. I don't want this thing to sit in the mail forever. License to drive with the comment of the night. He says, get a robot cat. Hell yeah. All right, friends. I will see you either Wednesday or Friday. And yeah. Lots of things changing. This has been one hell of a year. But I'm still here. And I'm just going to keep going. And if you guys want to come along from the ride, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Click some shit. Support your gangly buddy. And we'll do this shit together. Patchy Smoke Wins the Sniper with the last comment of the night. He says, stay safe and take care. I will, brother. You guys too. Be good. Here comes some flying from my least favorite spot. Technicolor. And, well, no, that's me driving. No. Okay. No, not from there. Different spot. Yeah. Here you guys go. Oh, wait, let me give you some music, too. Oh, God, what's happening? Oh, this is when it was all out of focus. Hold on. Hold on, please. Yeah. Come on! Here we go. Maybe this is one. Hey! This is before it went out of focus from being smashed into the ground. Just looking for the takeoff here. Come on. There it is. Man, this computer is really struggling right now. This might play like ass, but maybe it won't. Here's a little bit of epidemic sound. Love you guys. Be good. Talk to you later this week.